40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Friday Superspeedway Series here on Green White Checker TV. Looking forward to kicking off the playoffs, or at least the cutoff for the playoffs tonight. Last opportunity for our drivers to make their way into the field to compete for the championship over the last final 4 weeks of the season here. Tonight's going to be extra exciting, and we are at the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway with all of the width and room to make moves all night long. 75 laps will be our scheduled distance. You got myself, Boomer Logan, and we also have Brandon Briggs up here in the booth. And yeah, we are looking forward to getting this started here and have some fun here tonight. Yeah, should be a good night. Like I said, getting ready for the playoffs here tonight, and it'll be a pretty exciting race. Obviously, Brandon, been a few weeks since I've been in the booth, but it sounds like you guys have had quite a bit of fun over the last few weeks here in the booth and having some fun on Fridays, Tuesdays, and Sunday nights.
Yeah, it's been a lot of great racing, a lot of good photo finishes. Got a good win last week. I believe it was Dean Wilkinson pulled off the win, or Everett Lane pulled off the win in a crazy finish. Dean Wilkinson, I believe, was second. Just a wild finish, and then Sunday didn't disappoint either, leading us right in here to this race here tonight, as Talladega is going to end the regular season for us.
Yeah, end of the regular season for tonight, and honestly, probably more important considering the tracks that we're going to be going to here over the next 4 weeks. So obviously we've got 4 races in the playoffs, but we're going to only have 3 tracks. So we're done with iRacing Super Speedway. Next week we will go back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, also known as Echo Park Speedway. So that'll be next. I believe that's next Friday. We'll check the schedule later. But so that's the first race of the playoffs. The second race is going to be at Daytona International Speedway, and then we've got 2 double headers 2 weeks in a row at Talladega Superspeedway. So the last 2 races of the season will be at this track. So it'll be interesting to see maybe how drivers pay attention to that, how they get prepared for that, and see what can happen, as the cutoff track is also going to be where we crown our champion here in a couple weeks. But we are getting ready. So before we bring up the grid, we'll do a quick points update for you here. And this thanks to our good friend Guy L. Brooks. We have a beautiful new graphic, and Gabe Butler there with 247 is in the lead. Cody Nagels in second, just a few behind. Charles Johnson in third place. Adam Kilday having a solid season, and Everett Lane there in the top 5. Put Vicente Guerrero there in 6th place with 207 points. Les Levy in 7th, just 5 behind. Dean Wilkinson 1 behind in 8th place. Then you got Joshua Highbaugh at 193, and from here on out, it's kind of where you're starting to get to the uncomfortable zone. Jim Brooks, 189, 23-point lead over Hayden Davis, so that's a decent margin, 11 points to Eric Laurie. Then Jack Walls has 183, and obviously Eric Laurie at 178, so there's only 8 points separating, is that 8? No, it's not 8. It's 12 points separating Eric Laurie and Hayden Davis. Math is hard. But Hayden Davis and Justin Davis do still have opportunities to try and make this field in the championship. And honestly, so does Keedy Engstrom and Dale Rapp here tonight. So we'll see who is going to grab the last of those few 12 spots as we get ready to grid here. And it looks like drivers are getting in their trucks and getting ready to take to, again, the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. And with that, we'll roll right into the grid for you here. Adam Kilday is going to start on the pole for tonight's race in that number 85 for Vendetta Motorsports. Robert Hooligan will be in the 126 to his outside. Keedy Engstrom, all the way from Sweden, is going to be in the 64 truck inside of row number 2 with Vicente Guerrero in the 14 to his outside. Everett Lane, 5th in points, 5th in your starting grid for tonight. He's going to be inside of Tom Dixon, starting in that 6th position in that 411 truck. Justin Davis looking to get into the playoffs here in that number 10 machine, starting off in the 7th position. Eric Laurie will roll off 8th, just to his outside. Rounding out the top 10 is going to be Doug Webb and Mike Allen side by side with Paul Witt and Bob Fitzgerald on row number 6. And the last page of the grid we have here, Anthony Lane and Joshua Highbaugh side by side, row number 7. And our last 2 qualifiers, Robert Amaral and Dean Wilkinson, will share the 8th row. Gabe Butler, first car to not qualify, in the 17th position, with Jack Walls to his outside, and a couple other Roswell Motorsports guys at the back of this pack, with Jim Brooks and Bud Steele also electing not to qualify for tonight. So 20 cars in the field, and lap 20 is going to be the bonus for lap lead. And yeah, just about ready to kick things off here, Brandon.
Yeah, it's about time to get going here. I like that move here by Jim Brooks, sitting right there. I believe he was 10th in points. Going to start back there in the back, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be let's ride till we can get to the end. As some of these guys playing a little bit different. They qualified. When we get up here, we can see Adam Kilday put it on the pole here tonight. So some drivers with some different strategies, and got to have that truck there at the end if you want to make the playoffs. Boom.
Indeed, and we will see how those points play out. We are reminded from our Supreme Overlord, Guy L. Brooks, that this week is still eligible for a drop week. So if someone is not able to make the race, which you see a few drivers in the championship or in the playoff battle, not going to be able to start tonight's race, but Adam Kilday is ready to go in that shine down machine for simability. Green flag is out on the speedway. Up and away they go. Lap 1 of 75.
Yeah, good start there by that outside lane. It looks like the 126, Robert, he's going to get completely clear of the 85. So a good start there by not only him, but the 14 of Vicente Guerrero getting that outside line going pretty good. And now let's see if Vicente can get that help from, I believe, who is that, Tom Dixon there behind him?
Yeah, Tom Dixon is that second truck in the outside lane right now, middle at some point, I'm sure. They've got the 24 of Everett Lane, then Eric Laurie behind them. On the inside, it is, again, the 126 of Robert Hooligan followed by our pole sitter, Adam Kilday, 64 of Keedy Engstrom, and then the 10 of Justin Davis. And everybody here looking to see who's going to lead this first lap here. Looks like Vicente Guerrero has a pretty good shot in the high lane. Good push from Tom Dixon. He will get the bonus point for that lap led there and help solidify his position in the playoffs. And he's going to get clear of the 126 and take over the lead.
Yeah, good move there by Vicente Guerrero. Doesn't have Cody Nagels in the field tonight. Him and Cody normally run together, and so maybe it's going to see how Cody normally ran the race when he ran by himself. Be up there and just try to lead this race. Be in the front, so you don't have to worry about a teammate maybe helping get you back through the field, and you can control some things. But what I'm seeing early is these guys are pushing pretty hard. Just 2 laps in.
Yeah, that outside lane's working really well, and you see the 411 and the 24 getting a little squirrely there in the outside lane, and they are pushing as much as they can. Vicente's going to come around and lead again, but the 411 of Tom Dixon has a big push from the 24 of Everett Lane in the outside lane, trying to move forward. Seems like there are good opportunities for that outside lane to move forward. Like you said, Brandon, they're definitely starting to push a little more early on, especially. You know, since the last iRacing update would have been 13 weeks ago, these cars seem to be a lot more stable. Edgy, but stable is kind of what the consensus has been. So these guys are able to make quite a bit more aggressive moves, and you see the trucks get a little squirrely, but you know, they do have the control to make those moves, and you know, we've seen some really great racing from it. Obviously, this week was the latest iRacing build, and Tuesday there was a big update. So we'll have to see if we can get that input from the drivers and see if there's anything that has changed over the course of that update. As you see the 55 and the 88 now with a huge head of steam. The 24 is going to jump in front of that 55 truck, exit a 2, and they're going to try to rocket down the back straightaway and see what they could do to get themselves up in the lead.
Yeah, I like this move by them, and now the 24 is going to join also. But what we haven't seen much, you know, just being at the tracks we've been at, is that third lane coming into play. Get that third lane going early. Get the comfortable, you know, be comfortable around the drivers that's going to be up there, and you know the action's going to be packed all night. Drivers trying to make some moves. So I like that move by the 55 and the 88. Get to the front and try to stay out of the storm, as they're sitting right in the middle of it right now.
And you know who's enjoying that probably the most? Well, he moves to the middle now, but I was going to say Vicente Guerrero, because as they mix it up in the middle and outside lanes, Vicente was leading the bottom, and he gets shoved out of the bottom groove, and the 126 is going to take back over the race lead, and the 14 is going to get shuffled to the middle. 2 cars free now. One as the 85 jumps to the middle lane from the inside lane, and the 14 is going to push that 85 all the way forward, see if he can get him back up to the lead as our pole sitter.
Yeah, and that move we seen by Vicente, this really stacked that lineup, and that really caused the bottom to really get back going here. Is when he got up, that as this goes on, that run starts to get way faster. But what is not going to be able to happen is that move as this race goes on. You start to cut that line off as it's getting a good run. The drivers in those lanes are going to start to be patient. If the driver about third or fourth in that lane, his patience has had about enough, he's on the bubble, that's when you might see the bump and a big old accident come out of that boom.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously there's no win and you're in here at Area 51. You have to earn the points and then make the round of 12 for the championship battle. So it's still a points battle as those drivers near the cut line are battling it out. So the win doesn't mean anything as far as a guarantee, but it is going to go a long way to help you gain enough points to try and rocket up into the top 12 after tonight's race. So the 14 working the bottom. We got 4 wide action there for a second, and the 55 ducks back in behind the 24 to stay 3 wide here. The 14 and the 85. Ooh, there's a little contact. The 85 gets sideways, and we're going to probably have our first yellow of the night right at the front of the field. That's going to be a lot of fast repairs already.
Yeah, this is not what some of those guys up there. I think they didn't mind the 3 wide racing, but I didn't think they wanted it to be pushed that hard, And it looked like maybe just a little bit of hiccup there on the bottom we'll get a chance to go back and take a peek at it.
Yeah, you can see it's already starting to develop here, but obviously the 14 and the 85 got a little sideways in front of the field. 24 checks up, gets into the outside wall. The 411 kind of gets squeezed here, and everybody at that point is just kind of along for the ride. The 10 and the 64 are probably the two I think that got through the most cleanly. And we'll see, nope, little contact there for the 10 actually. So really the only ones that I don't think made any contact at all were the 55 and that 64. As you see just about everybody else behind them. 714 looks okay, but heavy contact for the 88, the 85, the 10, the 101 sliding around, and a couple others further on back. Anthony Lane checking up, able to get through okay. And you see further on back, everyone just kind of, Jim Brooks going all the way through the grass just to try and avoid the contact. And you see the 13 of Mike Allen sliding down the banking, the 429 of Paul Witt involved. And then at the back of the pack, the 83 and the 6 get through unscathed. But we'll try and take it back one more time and see if we can get a better view. Rewind it just a little bit here as we get into turn number 1 and try to show you exactly what happened here. You see as they're coming through, yeah, it just gets a little sideways for the 85. Unfortunately, gets into the 14, and then that gets him sideways. And at that point, they're pretty much all just kind of along for the ride, and everybody going around together.
Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate, and a little bit of net code I did see on that as they went through, not the first bump, but the second one there with the 14. Definitely some net code, so not completely on them. We've seen these guys be able to save stuff like that, so maybe a little bit of computer stuff going on here, but these guys are going to get these fast repairs, and now it's going to be interesting to see whose plans changed. Are you going to still be aggressive and try to be at the front? Or are you just going to ride at the back like Jim Brooks was? And it looked like he was able to get through that, as these guys are going to come down and fill these trucks back up and change the strategy. That's for sure. These guys knew what the fuel was coming in, and now 8 laps in, it gets all tossed around. So now these guys going to have to regroup with their teams.
Yeah, and it looks like a few are just kind of rolling through their pit stop, maybe getting a little bit of fuel. Keedy Engstrom with a 6.2 second stop with some fuel for himself, and kind of a mixed bag further on back. Quite a few cars spending an extended amount of time on pit road trying to get damage repaired here. 20-second stop for Adam Kilday. We see a 30-second stop for Dean Wilkinson. Vicente Guerrero is 30 seconds and counting. So is Eric Laurie, Bob Fitzgerald, Doug Webb, Joshua Highball, Robert Amaral. All those guys are spending extended amounts of time in pit road here after that first caution of the night. Well, since it is our first caution, that gives us an opportunity. Why don't we go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more action. Gonna re-rack and re-stack them here. Keedy Ingstrom will be the control car for this restart. Then Robert Hooligan to the outside in that number 126 Ryko Chevrolet. Anthony Lane gets promoted to the third position there, be inside of row number 2, and then Paul Witt will be to his outside. And there's quite a few trucks that came back down for some additional pit stops, maybe some additional fuel, and it looks like Eric Laurie still stuck in his pit stall. Dean Wilkinson rolling off now, and Gabe Butler is rolling off as well. So these guys are going to catch up to the back of the field, and that'll put everybody on the lead lap here as the lights are off and we're just about ready to go back to green.
Yeah, what I did learn from this caution boom is a lot of these guys did not take their fast repairs, so they're telling me they think this action's going to stay up all night. People been watching Bristol since last night. Bristol again tonight. Of course, nobody's watching that because they're tuned into this great race right here, right now. But hey, emotions are high. These fellas want to get back after it and get not only a win, but take advantage of some guys that ain't here tonight. So. And get a little bit more points than they was hoping for. Gary Huffines, I believe it was on Sunday, battled all night, found himself like a lap down, I think with 10 or so to go. Caution comes out at the right time. He's in the right spot. He ends up finishing 4th or 5th in the race. So nothing's ever over here in Area 51 is Keedy Ingstrom and Robert's going to bring us to the green flag.
Yeah, definitely never over. And the big thing is you got all 20 cars in the field still on a lead lap. And, we're going to have a little bit of a checkup, stack up towards the back, but we are rolling once again. Green flag is back out on the speedway. Keedy Ingstrom is going to lead us. It looks like Robert Hooligan beats him to the line. Curious to see if there's any penalties for that, for Robert Hooligan passing Keedy Ingstrom, as Keedy was the control car there. Definitely a little bit of a chaotic restart. I don't think anybody was caught too far off guard. It looks like everybody is in line back here, so no harm, no foul, but there was definitely a bigger checkup that could have been much worse than it ended up being. So no harm, no foul. The whole pack is rolling down the back straightaway here.
Yeah, and these guys are getting pretty single file here. Going to start to get in. I think this is telling us they're going to get in cruise mode or just get lined back up with your teammate Paul Witt. There was stuck there on the outside with no help, and as we can see, somebody here going to come down and I would assume serve a penalty and create a little bit of gap as they'll close back up. And this is going to be a decision here for Jack Walls. They're going to have a lot of speed as they come through the tri-oval. As we can see here, coming down to service penalty. But Jack Walls, like I was saying, is going to have to make a decision. Does he stay in line, or does he jump to the outside and maybe get up there to battle? You brought up earlier that bonus lap is lap 20, and they're going to have a really good head of steam here as they catch the back of 5-6 trucks there.
Yeah, the 411's not quite as connected as I'd like to see them, but you can definitely tell the 83 starting to inch forward towards that pack. Definitely a lot of momentum there with more trucks further on back. But Robert Hooligan continues to lead us there, and that was Robert Amaral who had to come in to service a penalty. Unsure exactly what the penalty was for, but that will be a pass-through for Robert Amaral, and that will put him likely one lap down. He is exiting turn number 2 at the moment. He'll be by himself with no drafting help, so this pack should catch him fairly quickly, and the saving grace is that he should be able to latch onto the back of this and be the only car one lap down. Should another caution come out, he would be the lucky dog candidate. So Robert Hooligan is clicking off a few more laps, led here. Keedy Ingstrom in that number 64 in the second place. And don't look now, the outside lane is starting to form here. Adam Kilday is trying to get back up to the front spot in that number 85 truck after being involved in the first incident tonight.
Yeah, these fellas are getting right back up there, and as we pay attention here to this ticker, some guys that I have definitely seen that their idea of this race, how it's going to go, has changed. Gabe Butler and Jim Brooks, Eric Laurie, all those guys said, hey, we're right here in the back, because these guys are already getting to 3 wide as we come past the start-finish line.
Yeah, they got a few in the outside lane. They're going to settle back on into double file for the moment here, but the 101 and the 13 for Silver Fox Racing, they are trying to make some moves, but ducking back in for now, as there's a little bit of a bobble in the inside lane, but the 85 is going to have enough to get past our leader, Robert Hooligan, push himself back up to the lead. Does he take the bottom lane? He does. He leaves the 429 out to the outside with the 14 of Vicente Guerrero behind him.
Yeah, some good run here. Vicente was really close to getting a win last week. Didn't have it happen. Some really late cautions, really threw a mix and everything. Would like to capitalize here and gain a little bit of momentum as they go into the playoffs. But Paul Witt's going to lead lap 15 here as we're coming 5 to go to this bonus. And I know it doesn't seem like much, but hey, Boom, we're here on the edge. This is the cutoff line right here. Do you risk a fast repair going for those bonus points on lap 20, or do you just say, hey, I ride where I'm at?
Are they bonus points, or is it money? I'll be honest, I'm not quite remembering exactly what that is for the leading lap 20.
I've heard points and I've heard money. So either way, if it's $20,
I'd take 20 bucks. I'd take 20. I'd take 5 points. I'd take 20 bucks. I'd take what I can get. I mean, obviously, we'll see. I think it's going to ratchet up just a little bit here as teammates now side by side, the 13 trying to go to the high side without any help at the moment. But man, I don't know. It's early. You got 2 fast repairs. I feel like most people saved them. I'd go for it. I mean, money's money and points are points, right?
Man, the last thing I want to do is call. I just don't. Man, as a teammate, like in this race, I don't want to be the reason my team. I don't think anything might happen, and it could, but I don't want to be the reason my teammates got to use a fast repair because I wanted $10. But I just like to think the long run game, and I like the way you think because this means it's going to amp up here, and these guys are going to push it a little bit harder. As you can see, Adam Kilday, he wants to stay out front as he jumps right in front of that middle lane.
3x3, the 101 and the 13 now linked up together, and the 85 getting the push in the middle lane from the 429, the 126 and the 64 still in the bottom lane, and the 85 Adam Kilday continuing to lead this race after starting from the pole, involved in the first yellow, and now he's going to tuck down in front of the 126 and try to be in that position at the end of lap 20 to get that bonus. But we'll see if that third lane continues to form. The 429 with a good head of steam with the 14 of Vicente Guerrero pushing him, and the 10 of Justin Davis trying to make this playoff here and having a good night. Sorry, excuse me, that's the 411 of Tom Dixon. I saw the teal and thought Justin Davis, but no, that is the 411 of Tom Dixon there towards the middle lane, and the 85 is going to jump back to the middle to cover the 429. And the 101, the 13 are losing a little bit of momentum there, but they do have Eric Laurie and Gabe Butler in that high lane, so we'll see what they can do to go forward. And we did get confirmation it is money, cash money that you will win for that 20 lap, leading lap number 20, the end of lap number 20.
Yeah, that does amp it up a little bit more. $20. I mean, whew. As you can see right there, Paul Witt with a big push to Adam Kilday. These guys are really getting going, and what you don't want to do, Boom, here is you don't want to be pushing so hard and trying to get up here so quick that you blow a motor and you don't even get to there. The last 2 races, I know we haven't seen it much this year, but we've seen one blowing Friday night and then another engine blow in Sunday night. So these guys really got to be paying attention, as you brought up earlier. iRacing threw in a massive update. It almost took me a semi to get all the stuff downloaded. But it right here is throwing a wrench in some things.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as I understand, the focus of this last iRacing update was more on the user interface side of things than anything. Checkered Flag Motorsports in the chat mentioning that the fonts and the black boxes are really hard to see, even zoomed into 300%. So definitely some bugs. They've already got a patch set for, I think, sometime Monday. To repair a few already known bugs. Yeah, definitely a new UI to play with for the drivers here, and we'll see if the trucks handle any differently here on Friday night and the Xfinity Series cars on Sunday night as well, as we ramp up for the playoffs on Sundays as well, getting ready to cut the field to 12, and they will have their cutoff race in just 2 days here also at Talladega Superspeedway.
Yeah, them fellas up there on the outside lane, they're making some distance here, making it quickly. They're moving a lot better than I thought they would up there with only 2 trucks. So that's definitely some good news if your other drivers looking around here, especially guys tonight like Vicente and Paul Witt. They only have 2 trucks. So seeing these guys be able to make this move on that third lane, that's got to give some confidence to a little bit of these smaller teams.
Yeah, not enough momentum there for the 101 to try to get to the front to put his name in the hat for winning the bonus lap, but it's going to be the 126 and the 85 side by side. The 126 edges ahead through the tri-oval. Does he have enough momentum? It's going to be a really close one. Oh man, that's as far as timing and scoring said, I believe Adam Kilday was first across the line, but we might actually have to go back just to confirm who led that lap. It was either obviously the 126 or the 85, but I think it went to the 85.
Yeah, that was way too close for me to call. I've learned my lesson before, and I was not going to stick my name in that hat like you was just talking about. So I'll leave that up to timing and scoring and all the data people.
There we go. Well, we continue to battle on lap number 21 that we're working on here, again, of the scheduled distance of 75. So just about to the 1/3 mark of this one, coming back to the tri-oval to start lap number 22. The 071 and the 88 trying to make their moves towards the high side of the speedway. And everybody pit under caution on lap 8 and 9 as the caution came out, I think, either 6 or 7. Which gives us a couple extra laps of fuel, but obviously kind of high teens, low 20s has been the projection for fuel runs, maybe a little bit less because we're here at Talladega Superspeedway this week, but man, look at that with the 2-car tandem in the high lane working again for the 071 and the 88. We saw it with the 13 and the 101, Joshua Highbaugh and Mike Allen. They were moving pretty well with just the 2 of them, and they get to that front, and almost like a bubble, they just can't push past it without more trucks. But the 071 and the 88 making a really good move, making some really good moves to try to get to the front before this next pit cycle.
Yeah, I was shocked to see. I see the 24 sitting there in that middle lane. He's still sitting there. I figured maybe they'd want to get Eric up there and maybe get him a bonus point. He's sitting 12th in points, but so far just them 2 staying up there. And maybe that was just to get up there, maybe get slotted around their teammates for, like you said, the upcoming pit stop, as these guys coming up on about 15 or 16 laps since they last pitted.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know there's no Hayden Davis this week, so we'll have to see where the points fall, but I don't think that's going to be beneficial for Hayden to make the playoffs, but Justin still has an opportunity. He's running with the Bootknockers here again tonight. He ran with them last season, and then his cousin came over, Hayden, and they've been running together, but he's back with some of his friends at Team Bootknocker, but you can be definitely betting that they are going to be trying to do everything that they can to get that 071 as much of an advantage in the points for tonight going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's not good for Hayden Davis with him missing this, but Hayden has ran a ton of races this year, 9, I believe all of them. This is, I believe, the first one he's missed. So this will actually count as his drop week, and this won't hurt him any, and hopefully they'll get rid of his next one. So that is one thing I do like about this league and having the drop weeks. You know, if you can make them all, you know, it just gets rid of your worst finish. And then if you can't make one, then it's like, okay, that's my drop week. So another good thing that Area 51 does for their drivers to try to, you know, understand that, hey, I can't make all the races, and here's something, you know, let's just give them back to you, knowing that, you know, you race here often enough, and we'll give you a little help.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, you know, life happens. Obviously, I've been gone for a few weeks. Last week we were racing in Mid-Ohio and having some fun up there in the real world with real race cars. But back again here in the virtual world, you know, life happens. Life gets in the way, and it's a good thing that we have those provisions in the standings so that you don't have to worry about missing it. Obviously, I know plenty of debate, especially in NASCAR right now, over the playoff versus the traditional 36 season format versus a chase versus whatever you want to call it. But definitely a lot of talk around different styles of racing. But we've got the playoffs here, and for now, for Area 51, they are here to stay. And you still have to, like we said, get to the top 12 in points. There's no obviously there's bonus points for winning, leading laps, other stuff like that, but there's you have to be in those top 12, and after tonight those drivers are going to get to compete for that championship and have some fun over the next 4 weeks. But it's going to be pretty good battle, I think, so far. Adam Kilday coming back up to first place after starting on the pole for tonight, and they're pretty much settled out 2 by 2 here as they head into turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, some really good racing going on up here. And excuse me there, I had to cough. I had to turn my mic off for a second. But touching back on the way Area 51 does it, there's so many ways to be successful. Charles Johnson, we've seen him race 7 or 8 races this year, missed a couple, and has been able to sit highly in points just because how good his runs have been. He's been consistent. So there's multiple ways that Area 51 gives you a chance to enter the playoffs in different ways. And not only that, but the way they get back to their drivers, an extra $20 tonight just for leading a lap. I mean, that's pretty good in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we don't have Les Levy here tonight, but he's got 202 points. Eric Laurie has 178, so there's quite a bit of a buffer there for him, even with the shorter field. So Les should be able to make his way into the playoffs. Again, all of this is completely unofficial until we get the updated points and the reset for the playoffs, which our friend Gael Brooks will be doing at the end of tonight's race, so we can determine who of those 12 drivers, or who will be in that field of 12 drivers over the next 4 weeks racing for a championship. It looks like Doug Webb is going to come down pit road by himself. One thing we didn't note, Robert Amaral had to come back down for another pit stop, and he is now 3 laps down, but he is with the pack, and thankfully there's nobody else that's even 1 lap down, so he still is your lucky dog candidate. But I think we're getting ready for more green flag pit stops here coming off of turn number 4.
Yeah, you got to ace this here. You don't want to make a mistake, and especially up here at the front of the pack, as we can see those Boonaka guys, they're going to look like they're going to go the extra lap. Here's right here.
Keedy Engstrom.
Yeah, we got some contact. Yep.
Keedy Engstrom goes for a ride and hits the inside wall coming down pit road. I think everybody else got down okay, but man, that was a major moment and big impact for that 64.
Yeah, not what Keedy wanted to see. He's going to have to come in here, and he's going to have to use his fast repair. But not only that, he's got to make sure he stays with this group. You don't want to lose this group and be riding around here. And like I told Gael last week, you don't want the fields to shred out so small that you can't get a caution to make up for it. As you can see right there, some pretty bad damage.
Yeah, slides to the box too. Man, that's a tough break for Keedy Engstrom. At least you see the car snap back to normal, so you know he took that fast repair here. And we'll see if this second group is a little more clean coming down pit road, led by the 24 of Everett Lane and the 88 of Gabe Butler. Yeah,
way better here. Just 2 teammates up there, and a little bit smaller group here. As you can see, the third teammate of Boonaka come right there. It looks like Dean Wilkinson's going to come in with this group also. I wonder, with him coming in so far, if he was with that group and checked out last second. And is Eric Laurie maybe out of gas?
I was thinking the same thing. Eric Laurie might be out of gas coming down pit road here. That's going to be a big mistake for him, unfortunately, for tonight.
Man, what a tough break for him. He was sitting on the bubble. He's going to have to get going. Keedy Engstrom was sitting on the bubble. He has a problem. It looks like Eric Laurie is going to roll and make his box. As we can see, Everett Lane here going to lead this group out of pit road. Big gap in a distance here. Major problems all the way around tonight.
Yeah, and you see this group that pitted earlier, the 85 and the 14, full head of steam. They should have 0 problems getting up to the lead. 88 and the 24 should be able to latch onto this group, I would think. But we're going to be curious to see how many trucks are actually going to be able to rejoin this lead pack here as we come down. And big move there to get back to the bottom, and we'll see how it all sorts out. I think we've got a pretty decent separation. Yeah, Eric Laurie 30 seconds behind the leader. Keedy Engstrom is 20. Doug Webb is 13. Dean Wilkinson is 11, and then Bob Fitzgerald is the closest here, as we're all kind of spread out across the front stretch at the moment. But most of these drivers should be able to catch back up, I would think. But we'll see. There's a decent gap between Gabe Butler and Justin Davis from 7th to 8th, and that gap is growing. So I think that's going to mean that our lead pack is going to be dwindled down to 7 drivers.
Yeah, and one guy that he's not racing tonight, but if he's watching, you don't want to ever wish bad luck, but if you want a driver to have a bad luck, it's nights like this where, maybe this turns out to be the drivers he's going against bad night and it shakes up the points. I tell you what, Gael is going to have his hands full when this race is over. So, but this group right here are going to break away, and this is what I was talking about. Boom, when they came to pit road, these groups start to get smaller, and especially like a group that's up here in this front pack right here, a lot of experience in this group. It's very, very unlikely that they're going to make a mistake, and this is just when the risk of cautions really start to slim out.
Yeah, indeed, and we've still seen issues. There's going to be a couple different packs here, and we'll go through those in just a minute. But as it gets closer to the end and these packs thin out, typically the incidents tend to go down. But obviously anything can happen here at the high banks of the Talladega Superspeedway here tonight.
Yeah, now these guys just up here, they got to understand we're in ride mode. There's nothing we can gain. There's 7 guys in this group. There's nothing we can gain out of this. What are we gonna? We're not gonna get no bonus, money for leading a certain lap. Let's just be patient here, take care of our trucks, and just hope none of the guys back there make a mistake. You don't want to make them. You don't. With this group, I know it's thinking ahead, but. It's probably going to stay green, and you can't afford to make a mistake if you come on this last pit stop. That would definitely ruin your night.
Absolutely, yeah. So like we mentioned, we promised we'll go through the field here. So we've got Adam Kilday started on the pole. Robert Hooligan is going to be in the second position in that number 26, so he is just behind our leaders. Those guys are 1, 2. Vicente Guerrero is up 1 spot on his starting position. Tom Dixon up 2. Paul Witt up 6. Everett Lane down 1, and Gabe Butler starting at the rear is up 10. You're going to have to go back about 4.7 seconds to find this group here, led by Joshua Highbaugh and the 83 of Jack Walls at the moment. Bud still pushing in that high lane. Anthony Lane also in this group. Justin Davis, Mike Allen, Jim Brooks, and Bob Fitzgerald. And then you're going to have to go another 20 seconds back to find Dean Wilkinson all by his lonesome. And then Doug Webb is picked up Keedy Engstrom. They are 32 seconds off of the lead and running roughly 3 to 2.5 seconds slower a lap. And then we have Eric Laurie by himself as well, and he is going to be picked up by the leaders here. And then we see Robert Amaral actually back on pit road again. Not sure if that is scheduled pit stop for him being a little off strategy, or if he is serving another penalty. And you see there the 071 going to be able to get back down in line with the help of his teammates, and they're going to be able to help him out there, get him back up to this lead pack, and he will remain the first car 1 lap down and in a pretty solid position to try and battle for that lucky dog.
Yeah, and not only that, but it helps Everett Lane and Gabe Butler. They were going to be tied as just 2 cars up there, along with Vicente Guerrero and Paul Witt, only 2 cars or 2 trucks. Now this gives them 3 trucks, and what that does is that gives them ability at any time, if they want, they can pull out and go to the front, which would give Eric that opportunity to get his lap back the hard, or the what we call the hard way, earning it back. And then that controls if a caution was to come out at the wrong time, that we have seen with iRacing. He wouldn't lose the lucky dog situation due to just getting a push, trying to stay with the pack and getting a 0x. So this definitely gives that team a little bit more options here to work with, compared to where the 14 and the 429 with 2 trucks, it would have been a little bit tougher. So Team Bootnacker getting a little bit of advantage here.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Eric Laurie in a little bit of a hole. I mean, he's still the last car in on points, and he has 10 or 12 point buffer, but definitely not enough to feel comfortable, and especially not enough if he's going to be finishing in that 19th position here tonight. So, and I know a lot of these other drivers, obviously Webb, Wilkinson, Ingstrom, they're all going to be caught by this pack here sooner than later. They're a little more organized now. Doug Webb ran a 51.86 that last lap, and the leaders run a 50.42. So we'll jump back to Doug Webb. They're actually on the back straightaway, so it's going to take a second to get back up to speed. But yeah, Doug Webb and Dean Wilkinson and Keedy Ingstrom, their speeds are all over the place because obviously 714 and the 64 were hooked up, and they caught up to the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. So we'll see with these three trucks if they can try to minimize that bleeding, and if a caution were to come out, put them in a good spot. So again, 50.42 for Adam Kilday as your race leader. Pretty consistent times throughout the top 7. Even that second pack, Bud Steele, running a 50.42, about 5.8 seconds back. So that gap is pretty stable at the moment between our lead pack and our second pack, just about 6 seconds back. And that last time by a 52.16 for Doug Webb. So to the 50.64, that's about a second and a half slower. So they will eventually be caught by the leaders. They are 37 seconds behind. So it's going to be probably about 10-15 laps, but they will be caught by the leaders at some point.
Yeah, Boom. I went and took a peek, and I believe the 714 has damage to the front right of his truck. So that is not the guy that you want leading that pack. So as you can see right there, as he come around, he's got that damage right there to the truck. And I would rather, as you can see, it's dented in just there a little bit. Could be causing a little bit of drag. So when these guys, not only that, but if he definitely wants to get that fixed in this next pit stop.
Yeah, and honestly, that's something that, where that contact is, unless he knows for sure that he got, an update from iRacing saying, hey, you've got damage, he may not know that he has that damage there because it's fairly inconspicuous, especially from the driver's seat, because you're not going to be able to see that from the cockpit view, which is the only view that you can race here in iRacing. Obviously, as a broadcaster, we've got the ability to run on the roof, but they're going to only be looking inside of the cockpit. So this is the only view that drivers get to see, and you can see that hood looks pretty clean from here. Can't see any of that fender damage on that right front, so he may not even know that he has that issue, but hopefully gets a chance to come down pit road and get that repaired at some point.
Yeah, and that's tough, especially, you're trying to do everything you can, and you're looking at the times, and it's like, man, what is the guy not behind me pushing? What's going on? Because like you said, you have no clue. You can't see, or you can't even, tell unless you got, somebody spotting for you. And not many of these, I don't think any of these guys have a spotter. So, except for the, maybe one they can download or one iRacing gives you. So,
yeah.
In a tough spot there. So, hopefully, pit stops come around and get that fixed, or really at this point, they're going to need a caution.
Yeah, and one good note is they're picking up even more speed. So even though Doug Webb with a little bit of right front damage, Dean Wilkinson, definitely regarded as one of the veterans in the league. He is doing a really good job to push that 714. They actually ran a 51.06, so that's within 0.8 of a second of our leaders in their lap times, and they actually run a 50.36, so that's within 0.7 of a second. So they're definitely doing a much better job to get the pack of 3 rolling, and we'll see if they can minimize the bleeding and try and stay ahead of these leaders. But it's going to take a very coordinated effort, especially with a larger pack. They've got 8 in this group with the lap car of Eric Laurie, and like we said, it doesn't help being that far behind when the pack is so segmented, but anything can happen when it comes to green flag pit stops, and we're probably coming close within the next 7 to 8 laps, seeing trucks come back down pit road once again.
Yeah, and maybe these guys in this front pack, I've been watching the ticker, so I don't think they're really slowing down. But like I said, I can't tell because of Doug's damage. I guess, they're gaining on, they're putting some distance here on Bud Steele also as the ticker's starting to go a little bit the other direction. But I wonder if these guys up there were saying, hey, we don't have to go 100%. We got a pretty good lead. Maybe we try to save a little bit here.
Yeah, they're definitely rolling a lot better. Doug Webb ran a 51.08 to Adam Kilday's 50.43, so it's definitely settling down a little more. That 6-second lead gap between Bud Steele and the leaders, that second pack there, growing to about 6.5 seconds or so. They're roughly 1 to 2 tenths a lap slower, whereas quite a few laps ago we mentioned that they were pretty much the same. And we got Catherine Steele jumping in the chat here to cheer on Bud in that number 6 Ford F-150 for tonight. Adam Kilday is the one at the point at the moment with Robert Hooligan. They started 1-2 on the night. They are still 1-2. Vicente Guerrero up 1 spot. Tom Dixon up 2. And Paul Witt still up 6. This is the running order that you have seen on your screen since the green flag pit stops at lap 28 and 29.
Adam Kilday doing quite a job. It's a lot of people start to get nervous, but I've been watching him. He's been holding a real nice line, letting Robert, just be able to push and not do anything crazy. As you can see, that's a very good job. Some guys get up there and get a little bit sometimes overwhelmed or try to do too much, but running a nice line and letting these guys just haul right on around here is, like you said, they're putting down some pretty good times. So. Now, like I said, it's going to be strategy. The Bootnacker went a lap extra last time. Now, Eric took a little bit slower to come out of theirs. So it's going to be interesting to see if these guys try to stretch it one more lap like they did last time and maybe lose somebody else run out of fuel, or how these guys are going to play it this time, as they do have 3 trucks and they won't lose much time if they do stay out and go an extra lap because of the 3 trucks. So. Got to be smart here on this. Is probably, what do you think, maybe going to be the last one, I would assume?
Yeah, we'll see. So last pit stops were around 28-29, so optimistically that turns into 48-49. I think they're still going to have to come down at least one more time. They're not going to be able to go the rest of the distance. So 49 to 75 obviously is over that 20 lap window. So this will probably not be the last pit stop. If anybody can save that much fuel to the end, I'll give them $1 because that would be very impressive. But it'll be probably 2 pit stops here to the end, the way that the caution fell there at lap 7.
Yeah, it would probably help if I knew how much they got to the tank. That probably would have helped my strategy out a little bit more there. But
I know we obviously it's always fairly similar. We never actually do our due diligence. We're broadcasters. We're not pit road reporters, right? So we don't have the knowledge down in the pits to know what the fuel strategy is, or get a chance to talk to any crew chiefs, because there are no crew chiefs. Everybody racing for themselves tonight and having a good time doing it. As Adam Kilday is actually going to relinquish the lead, and he's going to drop back here. Not sure if he's potentially worried about some fuel and wanting to save a little bit more, but he's going to drop to the back of this lead pack here. That's going to put the 126 back up to the lead, trying to earn some more bonus points for the most laps led. Obviously, Adam Kilday has his name in that hat right now. Robert Hooligan doing what he can to put his name, or more of his name, back in that hat to try and get those bonus points. But we've got a couple down pit road. So the 714, the 55, and the 64 are all coming together, and they look pretty consistent, pretty even. We'll see if that 714 gets that damage repaired or not.
Yeah, very clean and a good smart move here, understanding that they need to come with 3 trucks. That is like that's like your little safe zone that you can be all right and not lose too much time. Is you can see right there, going to get some tires, look like there for Doug Webb. I would have took fuel only, try to save as much as we can here, as these guys right there, you can see start to come out here.
Yeah,
and
pretty well organized.
Yeah, he's 64 is really going to have to get on it to let that run get going here. But let's see right here. Are these guys going to stick out another lap or come all together? What you think, Boom?
We'll see. I think they can go at least one more, but nope, it's going to be 50-50. The Bootknockers are going to run one more lap. We'll see if everybody gets down to pit road speeds okay. The 126 coming in first. Vicente Guerrero actually passes him coming into pit road. The 85 is going to gain up a little bit of ground as well. And some of the Roswell Motorsports drivers are also going to stay out here. So Everett Lane, as we suspected, Everett Lane pushing the 071 of Eric Laurie, who is actually tail end of the lead lap at the moment. And then Gabe Butler, kind of as we suspected, these guys are going to go one more lap, one more time. And hopefully that doesn't cause anybody to lose any fuel. The others that stayed out further on back, we've got Bud Steele pushed by Justin Davis, Jack Walls, and Jim Brooks. So one team Bootnaka car in Justin Davis and a couple Roswell Motorsports in Bud Steele, Jack Walls, and Jim Brooks. Then Vicente Guerrero is going to get a really good push from the 429 coming off of pit road with the help of TW Motorsports' Tom Dixon. Adam Kilday dropped back a couple spots there just before the pit stop, and we'll have to see if he is going to be able to latch onto the back of that 411 or not. I don't think he will because he's about a second and a half back. And as we see coming down pit road, Bud Steele leads this next group down, pitting on lap number 49. And again, that'll be one more pit stop after this for just about everybody. So we'll see Everett Lane and Gabe Butler see if they come down this time by.
Yeah, these guys are right here trying to push the limit, and that's a good move. Eric here, like you said, is a lap down, so has a little bit more fuel. So smart for them to let him stay out front. So even if they are close, he's got enough to really stay full throttle and not lose too much. As they're going to come out here, and it looks like they're actually going to gain a truck. If somebody right in front of them is going to be pitting also here, and don't want to get busted speeding. Damn, Gabe, that's going to be close.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's incredible to see how many, because obviously the 071 came in first, the 88 came in third, and the 24 came in second, and a little bit of conservancy from the 071, understandable, but that 88, the way he sends that in there down on pit road is absolutely impressive, and these guys practice that day in, day out, and that is such an important thing when it comes to racing at these super speedways. So they actually have a 32-second gap back to Vicente Guerrero here, who has Paul Witt and Tom Dixon. So they're coming off of pit road now, and that gap is dwindling very fast. So at full speed, Vicente Guerrero, Paul Witt, and Tom Dixon should be able to overtake them and jump back to the lead. The 071's not going to be able to catch up to this pack, but we'll see if the 24 and the 88 have the chance to do that. And if these three stay in line like this, they should have a good opportunity to be able to pass the 88 and the 24. But it looks like Gabe Butler and Everett Lane are going to have enough room to at least latch onto this group of five, if not get up to speed by the time the 14 gets the back bumper. The 24, not enough. The 14 does have the momentum to run to the high side, and these guys should battle it out, and it'll be a 5-pack for the leaders here.
Boom. I know you weren't here last week, and you were doing some racing. And I know you wish you were here, and now I wish you were here, because the end of last Friday's race was awesome. I don't like I like a little controversy right now. I like a little bit of rival. It brings the best out in a driver. Having some competition always brings out the best in everybody. And the finish between the 24 and the 14 was one I think everybody will remember if you was watching it. And now the way this is ending up, these guys got their teammates around you. They're back at it again. It's going to be them, Team Bootnaka, versus it looks like the 14 and the 429 as we sit. But we could be setting up for a remarkable finish. We can only hope.
Yeah, absolutely. The 429 and the 14 teammates working together. The 88 and the 24 teammates working together just behind the 411 of Tom Dixon for TW Motorsports on his own right now in this lead pack. Another Team Bootnaka in the 071, and then Keedy Ingstrom by himself in that number 64. We are counting the laps down instead of up. 24 laps to go. One more pit stop to go, and is anybody else going to drop out of this lead pack here? Vicente Guerrero, Paul Witt, Gabe Butler, Everett Lane, Tom Dixon are your leaders. Adam Kilday settles into the second pack with Justin Davis, Bud Steele, Jack Walls, and Jim Brooks, as well as Joshua Highbaugh Mike Allen and Bob Fitzgerald. You're going to go back another 30 to 40 seconds to find Anthony Lane, who is about to be lapped by the lead pack, and then you've got Doug Webb as a lapped car, Dean Wilkinson as a lapped car, and then Eric Laurie and Keedy Engstrom all lapped cars in this pack, and Anthony Lane's going to try and hang on to the back of it. Robert Hooligan is off of track, so he is potentially our second retiree, as Robert Amaral is also off track, and it shows him in pit and shows him no longer being scored. So the first two retirees of the night looks like they will be Robert Hooligan and Robert Amaral. Bad day to be a Robert, I guess.
Yeah, it's tough out here on this Friday night, but now, boom, as these laps start to dwindle down and you see a couple guys are going a lap down, and now, where do you draw the line between selfish and a good teammate? We haven't seen a caution flag except early on in the race. It's been pretty clean ever since. But where do you say, all right, I got to get up here. I got to create some pressure. I need to get back on the lead lap somehow. The caution's never going to come out if I'm just sitting here playing follow the leader. So where do you draw the line? At what lap do you say, I'm done being a good teammate? I got to put the pressure on these guys up here to maybe make a mistake so that caution does come out where I can be in position to get my lap back.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a tough balance because, you want to caution so badly, but you want to not be a part of it even more badly, right? So it's just one of those things. Like, I don't think it pays to be aggressive if you are any of the cars, that are battling for the lucky dog, maybe to try and get to the lead of that lucky dog battle, as obviously the 714 has it right now with Dean Wilkinson just behind him. So, it might pay to be a little aggressive in trying to get that position, but if you end up being the caution, it's not going to matter at all because you're not going to be the lucky dog and you're going to have way more damage to repair. So I don't know what you're thinking. I'm curious to know your thoughts as well.
Man, I just it's so tough after after watching what Gary Huffines did on Sunday. Like I said, I think he was like 17th or something, 16th lap down. Caution comes out. He gets his lap back, and like I said, the mayhem at the end happens, and he finishes like 4th or 5th. So he gained a lot of points just off that chaos beginning. So, man, I risk it for the biscuit. If you don't want to be sitting here, I think all weekend long waiting on Sunday to come around saying, hey, I should have done this. So, send it, full send.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, the battle for the playoffs is not too crazy. Obviously, the 071 is not having the night that he'd want to have, but I definitely, in his position, I think he's got to be conservative. But for someone like the 714, who we actually see jump into the high side there, and so now the 55 is going to be your lucky dog candidate. Someone for the 55, there's nothing really for Dean Wilkinson to lose here. If he gets a chance to get back on the lean lap, he's going to have a really solid night, and he's pretty comfortable in the point standings to be able to do something like that. So for him, absolutely, I think it makes sense, for him to be more aggressive. Obviously, Keedy Engstrom is trying to do the same, it looks like here, but he is out of the point standings. He's about 15 points off of Eric Laurie. So obviously for Keedy, where he's at and where Eric is at, that's not really going to do much for him. So Keedy at that point really is in more of a desperate situation, I think. So for Keedy, I think I agree, absolutely, go for it. But for Eric Laurie, I think for him, he just wants to minimize the bleeding and not make it any worse. I mean, I guess, maybe you could also argue that he is in 18th, the last car, still on track. So maybe it does make sense for him to be aggressive because he's got almost nothing to lose and nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, and look at what Dean Wilkinson and the 64 are doing right now. They're saying, hey, we're going to get this back and we're going to get up here. Dean Wilkinson, well good enough driver to lead this pack as a lap down, but they're going to need one more. And this is where, like I was just talking about, being aggressive. Hey, let's get this lane going up here, get a couple more trucks in here. Hey, we know these guys got a pit, so maybe they have some chaos and we be in front of it, and we're right back in this show. But second lane starting to fade now as Dean, and that run's going to start to drop back a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like whatever, if it's the middle or the outside, that's the outside most lane, I should say. It seems like two cars can push pretty well, but there's like almost like a bubble there at that second truck in the inside lane that's really tough to get past unless you've got more than two trucks there. But I mean, props to Keedy and the 55 for moving as far forward as they can, just the two of them. But the 14 and the 429, two teammates, are still going to keep it 1-2. And then 3-4 is going to be the team Bootnaka 88 and 24, followed by TW Motorsports Tom Dixon. So curious to see if the 411 and the 55 being teammates for TW Motorsports, if they're going to link up in any way to try and help each other out. Obviously, the 411 having a really solid night here in the top 5, and the 55 trying to do what he can to earn his lap back the hard way, or be in the lucky dog position, as it looks like we're going to have some pit stops here for the Team Bootnaka drivers.
Yeah, I like this, and definitely. That's not going to be good for the 24. I think he might get a penalty for that, for going over. Don't really know if it's got to be the whole truck or what the situation is there, but best case scenario, no damage. And it looks like, maybe is it just a model, but it looks like he's got a little bit of damage there on the front right also.
Yeah, I think so. And the 071 gets into a stall and slides through his box, and Everett Lane is sitting here for 12 seconds, 14, 15, 16 seconds. So anything longer than 14 is a penalty, unfortunately. So Everett Lane is going to sit in his box and think about what he did. Unfortunately for him, Gabe Butler is going to roll off without any help in the 11th position. And Vicente Guerrero, Paul Witt, these guys are going to come down pit road this time by with Tom Dixon. And that's going to put Adam Kilday out to the lead unless these guys decide to come down pit road. And it looks like they will. 85 is coming by himself, though, as Roswell Motorsports, Bud Steele, Jack Walls, Jim Brooks, and some of the Silver Fox Racing guys in Mike Allen and Joshua Highball are going to stay out. And then Bob Fitzgerald also for TW Motorsports staying out in this group here.
Yeah, I like this move by these guys. Stay out a little bit longer. They're going to gain some time here because Team Bootnaka, that group is split up. Gabe's going to drop he's really got to hustle if he wants to catch the group that came in after him. But these guys right here can really gain some time as everybody else. We said we seen them about 6 seconds, I believe it was 6-7 seconds. So if they can really hustle and stay out here, they might actually be able to make up that time, and they'll have a very shorter pit stop than everybody else had.
Yeah, the longer you can stay out, the less fuel that you can take to the end. And we'll see if that helps these guys or not. Obviously, it looks like they are primed to run it out a little bit longer, maybe even all the way. I think they can get to probably about lap 68, so about 7, 8 to go is when they probably need to pit. So 6 to 7, 8 laps or so from now, they'll be in that position. So they can run this out for a little while, and I think they just want to pay attention to the lap times of where they're at and where everybody else is at. So you see a little bit of a disconnection there between the 83 and the 6. Still pushing well, but obviously 83 is trying to make sure his truck doesn't overheat. But they are not the fastest out on track. That's actually going to be Doug Webb in this 714, getting pushed by the 55 and the 64. They ran a 50.88 that last lap to Bud Steele's 51.62. Thankfully for Bud Steele, he is gaining a lot of ground on Gabe Butler, as Gabe Butler is still by himself without any dancing partners, but Doug Webb in this group should be catching them fairly soon, and they should also be catching Eric Laurie as well.
Yeah, the group to watch here after all this is going to settle down is going to be, looks like it's going to be a 3-horse race here. Vicente, Paul Witt, and Tom Dixon all have already taken their pit stop, and they have grown over an 8-second lead over who would be next to them. And Gabe Butler, as you can see there, now they're passing Everett Lane, which is only going to help that group right there become faster. So these guys not going the right way, on the board. Oh, now it's starting to turn around as they're on the time catching Bud. But now right here, as you start to see this time start to go down, boom, how quick do you peel off and say, hey, we're not gaining nothing no more. Let's come down here and take the rest of the fuel to get to the end.
Yeah, I mean, I would say immediately for Team Bootnaka, there really isn't any benefit to them. If they were staying out and they were faster, then absolutely. And, just maybe something maybe they need to, rotate out someone pushing, or who knows, maybe Bud Steele has some damage that we're, not familiar with or didn't see. But this group's definitely not pushing as effectively, and you can see Vicente Guerrero and Paul Witt, that teammate connection. Those guys are really well organized, and they are running over a second faster a lap than Bud Steele and the rest of this group. So at this point, I think it is going to be the 14 and the 429. Those two teammates, it'll be their race to lose, and they've got Tom Dixon in the 411, who is going to try and do what he can, but I don't think without any help from a teammate, it's really going to matter too much for the 411, because the 14 and the 429 are probably going to stick like glue to each other and get a 1-2 finish here potentially, but we'll have 10 laps to go at the line here and plenty of time to still settle this one.
Yeah, and what those guys, they do not want to see a caution at all here. So, man, what a turnaround. I know it says Bud Steele's leading this race, and glad to have Bud back. Missed a couple races and got him back in the driver's seat tonight, but he's clicking down some laps, getting some laps led and getting some points. So, shout out to the 6. But Vicente, Paul Witt, man, these guys only had 2 trucks tonight in their channel, and they really executed all night, a little bit caught up in that little bit of mess at the beginning, and really bounced back and was aggressive. They kept them trucks up there all night, and hopefully it stays that way, especially after the way last week went for Vicente. Is we can see Bud and teammate Jack Walls here. That is who's hoping for a caution. If a caution comes out right now, I believe everybody would come in and they would win out of this benefit, but definitely pushing it as far as they can.
Yeah, I think everybody would come down for a little bit of extra security and fuel, and then at that point, obviously, Roswell's doing a good job to stay out and stretch the fuel, and some of the Silver Fox guys, Allen, and actually they're going to come down pit road now, so the Allen and Highbaugh group, as well as the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald, are going to work together here. 3 Chevrolets on pit road, 10 laps to go, and we mentioned that probably in another 3 to 4 laps or so, our leaders are going to have to come as well. So Bud Steele, Jack Walls, and Jim Brooks here. They ran a 51.84 that last time by. Vicente Guerrero, Paul Witt, Tom Dixon ran a 50.37. So this second group is making some serious headway as the 14 and the 429 are trying to close this one out. They've made their final pit stops, and by the time the 6, the 83, and the 51 pit, these guys should absolutely cycle back to being our leaders.
Thought we was about to have a hiccup there for a second. I seen some guys getting squirrely, and these guys are going to come down for their final pit stop here. Now we're really going to see. I don't think it's going to pay off. They're showing 14 seconds as they hit pit road, but
Yeah.
still one heck of a try here. As you can see, this group has just picked up even more here, and man, hats off to this 14. I still can't believe these guys right now are doing a pretty damn good job. A lot of guys are a lap down.
Yeah, they obviously, most of the cars that are lap down have all had issues now. Obviously, Wilkinson was in that group. Everett Lane goes lap down that last pit cycle for the penalty. Ingstrom also here in the lead pack. Further on back, Webb, Lane, Laurie, Davis, all 1 lap down, having some issues of their own for tonight. But 8 laps to go. Vicente Guerrero and Paul Witt, the 2 teammates, have put themselves in a really great position here. One thing to note now, the 411 does have help from the 55 of Dean Wilkinson, who is a teammate for TW Motorsports. That could be an opportunity for the 411 to maybe make a move and get a chance to get him up to the lead and maybe win this race. Obviously, with the 14 and the 429, they're probably most likely going to stick together and work together. But now the 411 at least has some options, even though he's got a teammate that's a lap down. It's still a teammate that could push him to the win potentially.
How about that? 411 coming in here playing spoiler. Ruining. Oh, I think he just blew up.
He did.
Yeah, I think I heard it. I heard his engine go.
Oh, man. That's going to be a retirement for the 411 after having such a great night. Tom Dixon off of turn number 2 blows his motor and unfortunately is going to have to tow back to the pits. And man, that's probably going to put him in 18th position by the time it all settles out, because that's going to be a couple minutes for that tow to get him back to pit lane. Jim Brooks has actually entered pit lane, it looks like. Not entirely sure why, but he comes down here and gets his final service. I'm not sure if he had to come back down for a penalty or something, but it looks like a pass-through for him coming back down. So, man, that is such a bummer. I mean, really at this point, the 14 and the 429 are just hoping for nothing to happen. Just be quiet. They've got lap cars all around them, but all they need to do is finish this race, and they will be in the 1-2 position. And how about Gabe Butler? He's got two of his teammates. They are both a lap down. He is now back up to the 3rd position, and they are running decent speeds compared to the leaders. Couple tenths of a lap slower, but this group here, after Gabe Butler came off pit road when Eric Laurie slides through his stall and the 24 goes for a penalty or gets a penalty, the 88 able to recover and still find some teammates out on track, even though they are a couple laps down.
Yeah, a little bit of a blessing in disguise, and that's why you gotta be a good teammate as always. We was talking earlier, do you be a good teammate or do you be aggressive? And you can see these guys right here going to try to figure out a plan, because as we talked about, the race is not over yet. You have no clue what's going to happen. As you can see, if somebody up there in one of those groups blows a motor, that's going to cause the caution. Is it's going to wad everybody up here. But Vicente right here being conservative, letting these guys out here lead this field and make sure he has enough fuel to make it all the way to the end.
Yeah, so Everett Lane and Keedy Engstrom, tail end of the lead lap at the moment. Vicente Guerrero third in line here is your race leader. Paul Witt, teammate just behind him. A couple of cars coming back down pit road, 411 and the 51. And 411 comes off after blowing the motor, so that's going to be, that's going to put him all the way back to 17th position. He's actually racing for position with Jim Brooks as they come off of pit road near one another. And our leaders here, so we'll kind of go through the field here. We've only got 4 laps to go, but we'll try to paint this picture for you. Obviously, the 14 and the 429 are working together, and they are 1-2 teammates, and they've got an 18-second lead over Gabe Butler, who has found even more lap cars here in this second pack. So Gabe Butler's the only car for lead lap position here. You got to go another 9 seconds to the front, down towards the back straightaway. The beginning of the back straightaway, Joshua Highbaugh working with teammates Mike Allen, and then on the inside it's the Roswell Motorsports group. So you got Bud Steele and Jack Walls, and then Bob Fitzgerald working with TW Motorsports there in this next pack. For position, it's just Bob Fitzgerald, Joshua Highbaugh, and Mike Allen. Everybody else a lap down. And you've got this group here who is over or just under a lap down, actually. Yeah, so okay, that's where Everett Lane and Keedy Engstrom net out. Dean Wilkinson in this pack as well. Adam Kilday. So Dean Wilkinson and Adam Kilday are a lap down. Everett and Keedy are not at the moment. You'll go back another 17 seconds to find Doug Webb in the 13th position. And then you've got Justin Davis there in 14th and Eric Laurie in that group as well. You got to go another 2 seconds back to find Anthony Lane, and then another 40 seconds back. We've got Tom Dixon and Jim Brooks, and we've got 2 laps to go on the speedway. So Vicente Guerrero moving to the high side, gonna maybe try and battle it out side by side with his teammate to see who can get the race win here.
Yeah, they right here. I wouldn't. Man, this isn't all these guys around. With these guys, will definitely want to be up front. Maybe this is just let's get up out of the way here, and maybe let my teammate get his first win of the season here. So Vicente is always a good teammate here at heart. Or maybe that. Hey, I still think those guys came in quite early. Did they not take enough fuel, and he's just dropping back here? Now he's gonna jump right back to the outside. So gonna have 1 to go. So that's gonna be final now.
Yep, so the 14 jumps to the high side. It's a bunch of lap cars and the 429 in the middle. And it looks like the 14 is going to concede this to his teammate Paul Witt. Paul hasn't run every race here. Vicente has been running most of the schedule and is in a really good spot in the points. But the 14 is going to see what he can do to give that 429 a chance at a victory here. And all they need to do is come back around The next flag will end the race. They will race back to the line to get back to it, but it's going to be pretty uneventful here. The 429 and the 15 with the execution, the two teammates working together all night long, staying in the lead pack, and they are the only two that are able to stay ahead of the field and come home victorious. 1-2 finish for Vicente Guerrero and Paul Witt with his first win on the season.
Man, that tells you everything you need to know about Vicente. Tough week running last week. Comes back here in a position to get a win. Sees his teammate in a position to get the win and gives it to his teammates. So can't say much more about Vicente Class Act.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these guys, I mean, class of the field all night long. Vicente giving the chance to Paul Witt to get that race win here. We'll do our homework here and try to see how many races that is for Paul Witt winning here at Area 51. But definitely exciting to see him come back around to get this race win. And how about the recovery for Gabe Butler there in third and our boss helping us out. Thank you, Gael. So yeah, first ever Area 51 win for the 429 of Paul Witt. So an exciting burn down for the teammates there. Are going to do some victory donuts together and have some fun celebrating as a team. So we'll bring up the final race results here for you and try to go through this. Paul Witt there and Vicente Guerrero, 1-2 finish, dominating the field all night long. Gabe Butler with a solid recovery after slowly losing teammates here and there. It's going to be 19 seconds off the lead, but still in a podium placing for him. Jack Walls, Bud Steele, all together for Roswell Motorsports. They stayed out a little bit longer and were not running quite as fast lap times, and that was enough for Paul Witt and Vicente Guerrero to leapfrog them after the pit cycle, but still a really solid night in the top 5 for those two. Joshua Highbaugh there for Silver Vox Racing is in the mix of that group, as well as Bob Fitzgerald and Mike Allen. All those guys are coming home with solid top 10 finishes. Everett Lane, not the night that he wanted to have, but after the speeding penalty or the pit entry penalty jumping on the grass there, to be 50 seconds behind is not too terrible after a 40-second penalty. So not too bad of a night for the penalties that he had, and then Keedy Engstrom was battling back pretty much all night long, and finally gets back to technically the lead lap ahead of the leader there as they cross the line. Dean Wilkinson just behind the leaders there, as well as Adam Kilday. Definitely was going to be a really great night for Adam Kilday, and unfortunately gets trapped a lap down there. Eric Laurie, we saw his struggles on pit road as well. Doug Webb having issues of his own. Justin Davis there too. Anthony Lane. We saw a little bit of a bobble there later on in the race, and then Jim Brooks coming down pit road a couple extra times, not entirely sure what happened for him there. And then Tom Dixon we saw blow the motor off of turn number 2, and with the last 2 spots in the grid, not grid results, Robert Amaral, our first retiree, and then Robert Hooligan. So again, not a great day to be a Robert here in Area 51, but hopefully they can bounce back and have a better race in 2 weeks. So with that, it's time to do some interviews, and we've got a name that we've seen a few times, seen and heard a few times here. We'll be bringing him up in the booth. That's Mr. Gabe Butler. Definitely an up and down night. Obviously, you lost a lot of teammates to some pit issues, but kind of hung in there and eventually found more of your teammates towards the end and came home in the 3rd place finish.
Yeah, kind of lucky, kind of rough night for the team overall, but I know Eric was right in the bubble, so we don't know if he was able to do enough there to get in, but hopefully he did. But yeah, just one of those dang nights, man. I think a lot of people are trying to get used to this new in-car UI. It's kind of hard to see some stuff. You really got to adjust it up to your liking. So I'm still getting used to it, especially after years and years of driving with the same UI, and now you got these new graphics in there. So we're trying to figure it out as we go.
Yeah, definitely. I've heard some struggles, not just from you, but even some people in the YouTube chat was just talking about some things they gotta fix, and how does that, man? I add pressure on somebody like your guys' team, just something you got to add into a race like this with the pressure as high as it is on some drivers. How do you make sure you execute, and was part of that plan just making it to the end and starting in the back?
I mean, you just kind of got to black out the outside issues, like I said, with this new UI, and just kind of concentrate and getting your pits down. But again, a lot of people depend on that speed limit counter, and if you don't have that, you're either going to be too fast or too slow. And I think Everett got caught and had a speeding penalty. So you just got to do your best, and I'm sure as time goes by, we'll all get used to it. But your eyes are so trained to seeing certain things within the car, and it's just a little bit tricky trying to get used to this whole thing.
Yeah, I know we were going to ask, obviously the last update seemed like gave us an opportunity for these trucks to be a little more stable, but edgy was kind of, seems like the consensus where, you can make more moves with the stability, but still it's a little squirrely, but enough that, that you can make moves. Have you noticed any differences within the last iRacing update this past week in the trucks, and any changes that you had to adjust to out there tonight?
Personally, I haven't noticed that many changes as far as the setup goes. I know the heating issue is becoming a problem. Before it was difficult to manage your temps, but now it's really hard. They get quick, they get hot even faster, and it seems like it takes them longer to cool down. I know, and I could be wrong here, but I think Bob or Tom Dixon blew up, and I think he was the third car in line. So if that tells you anything about managing the temps on these things, uh, it'll tell you everything right there.
Yeah, definitely. I know. Obviously, we saw, unfortunately, from third position there late in the race, Tom Dixon with an expired motor there. So definitely something to see everyone manage here. But obviously, solidly in the playoffs here as the points reset. You come into the playoffs as the point leader. I guess if you want to call it, for the regular season. What's the focus now over these next 4 races, and what you can do to try and get yourself another championship here?
I just, you know, like any super speedway race, you kind of depend on your teammates and they depend on you. So we kind of all got to try and work together as best we can and execute. And, these championship 4 races is kind of game on now. So you're probably going to see quite a bit of aggressive racing. So it should be fun. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely should be a solid battle, and we can at least tell you here officially. Looks like Eric Laurie got a chance to he'll be the last. Well, he was the last truck in on points, but it sounds like we're going to have a few people giving up their spots for the playoffs. So Eric is solidly in the chase for the championship there. Obviously, the night that he didn't want to have, but at least we can update you and say, hey, he's got his spot to compete for that championship there, and a good points reset. But hey, we'll roll that red carpet out for you, Gabe. I'm sure you got a few thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give for that third place finish here tonight.
Yeah, big shout out to teammates. Like I said earlier, kind of a rough night, but again, no matter where we're at in track, we all try and work together. So it was great running with Eric, Everett, Doug, and we had Justin in tonight with us too. And of course, you guys up in the booth at Area 51 and Green White Checker TV, you guys do a fantastic job. Probably a little bit of a boring race for you tonight, but I think next 4 weeks will be a lot more exciting. And of course, all the admins and all the drivers that came out tonight.
Yeah, we appreciate you as well, Gabe, and best of luck to you as you chase yet another championship here in Area 51, and good luck on Sundays as well.
All right, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Alrighty, that will do it for the third place finishing truck. So we are going to bring up second place, Vicente Guerrero, coming into tonight in a really solid position to make the playoffs. And seems like there was a bit of a move at the end there for you to get Paul up to get ahead of you and push him to the victory. Was that a planned move for the teammates there?
Oh yeah, for sure, that was planned. I wanted him to to actually get his first win. I think it was here in Area 51. So yeah, I felt. I mean, we had decided we were gonna battle it, but I already knew that if I jumped to the outside, probably not gonna get any help. So either way, it planned out to the way I wanted to him to win.
Yeah, definitely. Or well, go ahead, Brandon. Sorry.
No, you were fine, Boom. I was just gonna say, I mean, as I told Boom, class act by you, especially after I know you had some momentum coming into the night, wanting to get a win and then just moving over to let your teammate get it done. And how much momentum or did you have coming in tonight after last week? Because you ran really good, you guys dominated. You were up front all night, and then I didn't see one hiccup with you guys on pit road, and you guys only had 2 trucks, so to be able to do that and stay with the lead pack is pretty tough. So, how much did that fuel you last week?
Um, I was still kind of a little bit motivated, still from last week, you would say. But I didn't think it mattered because I think it was just him and I, my teammate, at the end. So I wish it was a closer race there at the end, probably battling with somebody. It's a lot funner when you're trying to battle somebody for the win or something like that. But um, yeah, overall, man, fantastic pit stop by myself and my teammate all night. I think we didn't make any mistakes in pit. So yeah, long green flag.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that probably is the story of the night is that, you and Paul really just didn't make any mistakes, and pretty much everybody else in the field did at some point or another. Obviously, unfortunately, the 411 there blew his motor late and didn't have a chance to race for the win with you guys up there. And at that point, you had enough gap over pretty much everybody else who didn't have drafting help coming off of pit road or made some mistakes of their own. So definitely got to be, I know, like you said, a little boring towards the end, but there's got to be, definitely some pride in put a whooping on the field by not making any mistakes.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, unfortunate for Tom. He was running really good tonight. Yeah, he blew his engine. I was thinking 1, 2, 3, and that was good because he was pitting with us, so that helped us. When we pit the last stop there, it was 3 of us connected. So um, yeah, that's unfortunate that he blew up his engine.
Yeah, well, you obviously have a championship battle ahead of you and something to prep for. We'll inform you live here as well. Paul jumped up 6 spots in the standings with tonight's win. And we do actually have a couple drivers who are not going to be able to participate in the playoffs, so they are giving up their spots, which actually means that Paul is also going to be in the playoffs with you. So now, as you focus on that into the next race, the next 4 races, what are you and him probably going to be looking to try and execute, or strategy-wise, where's your mindset coming into these playoffs as you guys are both going to be competing for a championship?
Basically, hopefully pull off what we just did tonight for the next 4 races, I would say,
There you go.
with Cody included. Because Cody, he couldn't make it tonight. He had a dinner date, so but yeah, it'll be us 3. I think Jim too was running throughout the season. I don't know if he made it through to the playoffs, but I'm sure that we'll plan something out and hopefully finish off strong at the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Well, good luck to both of you guys in the playoffs here. Congratulations on the 1-2 finish tonight, and we'll roll that red carpet out for you for any thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for putting on this broadcast. Can't wait to watch this one back. I want to thank Area 51 and all their admins for what they do and letting us race here. I also want to thank my folks out in Arizona, um, my mom, dad, my grandma, aunts and uncles, cousins, everybody over there. I miss them. I also want to thank my family here at home, my wife especially, for letting me do what I do, having some fun once in a while here. But yeah, thank you guys.
Appreciate it, Vicente, and good luck over the next 4 weeks.
Thanks.
Alrighty, so that is going to be opportunity for the final interview, and that's going to be Paul Witt and that is the first checkered flag for you here in Area 51. Obviously, in the broadcast and in the league as a whole, we love a first-time winner. Congratulations, man. Take us through what it took to get there tonight.
Man, it just no mistakes. That's what it was. The races I've been going here, I've been making mistakes coming down pit road, missing the box. Have to back up or something, and the pits were right on the money, and we just held our ground with Vince and I. We were just the two of us together, and it's too bad that they blew the engine, that Tom blew his engine or something, because he had a good third place finish or even the win, because he was up there with us.
Yeah, we heard Vicente just talk about Tom, and then Gabe actually brought up temperatures also. There at the end, you guys was right in that middle pack. How tough was it to contain the temperatures, especially there at the beginning, where the racing was getting pretty intense?
Well, the water temp was fine. It was the oil temp that kept pegging on me. I got it up to about 280, and then I had to try to get it to cool down, and it was just trying to offset running behind Vince, just to get it to cool down a little bit, and it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, we talked to Vicente already, coming home in second there. Seemed like he was in position there to try and make sure you got an opportunity to get that first race win. So some really good teamwork. But I mean, we talked to Vicente about, really a butt whooping that you guys put on these guys tonight, and really, like you said at the top of the interview, just execution. I mean, I think you were the only two trucks to really not make any mistakes tonight, and obviously Vicente caught up in that first wreck, and you might have been as well. I don't quite remember, but I mean, other than that, you guys are pretty near perfect, and it's got to feel good to come home and be able to decide, hey, who's going to take the race win here and get you your first ever opportunity for a checkered flag.
Well, I think Lady Luck was actually on my side, because when he got to that wreck, I did not hit anybody. I had a 0x through it. So Lady Luck must have been on my side. But when we were running around 1, 2, 3 with Tom, I told Vicente, I said, hey, we're running this out. We're racing to the line. I said, we're not going to push either one of us. We're racing it to the line. I said, we just, we've been racing for years together, him and Cody, and we've been racing for years, and doing the super speedways. And I knew we could race clean at the end. So I just told him, I said, let's just run it. See who wins.
Well, definitely a fun position to be in and a good opportunity for you both. And I don't know if you've had a chance to find out yet, but you did actually make it in the playoffs. You gained 6 spots heading into the playoffs after tonight's victory. And we did have a couple drivers who aren't going to make the playoffs, so they're going to relinquish their spots, and that puts you as well as Keity Engstrom into the playoffs. So now you've got to set your mindset on, now you get to compete for a championship in these next 4 weeks with this race win here tonight. What's going through your mind mindset-wise? What are you trying to figure out? What are you trying to, prep for? And what your outlook might be over these next 4 weeks to try and compete for that championship?
The outlook is just concentrating on not making mistakes. If you don't make mistakes on pit road, because these guys over here run really clean, and I backed out of super speedway racing because I just kept getting wrecked, and I'm finally starting to come back into some super speedway racing, and love racing with these guys over here because they're nice and clean. It's great racing. So as long as you can execute pit road, you're gonna come out pretty good. So I just got to concentrate on that, and we'll see where it all falls at the end.
Yeah, Vicente also said, kind of similar thing, but he also said, hopefully we can do what we did tonight for the next 4 weeks and go out and chase a championship. But obviously it was the execution that got you the win here tonight, your first ever in Area 51. How are you going to celebrate that tonight?
I want to celebrate by going to bed in a few minutes.
You know what? I'm going to do the same after we log off here, so I don't blame you, and we'll roll out that red carpet now for you, Paul. Any other thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give for that first victory here in Area 51?
Well, I got to give a good shout out to you guys to broadcast it week in and week out. All the admins over here, Charles, and everybody over here, they're putting on a great league over here. And I'm having so much fun doing super speedway racing over here. It's just a joy to come in here and run with everybody, and thank my wife for, letting me come down here and play around for a while.
Definitely. Well, yeah, good luck to you over the next 4 weeks. Obviously, we know that you and Vicente have the capability to execute, and we'll look forward to seeing you try to do that and maybe race for a championship here.
I hope so. Maybe one of us three would, need to go ahead and win that championship, Cody, Vicente, or myself. So get those Nightmare Esports up there and get a trophy.
Good deal. Well, congratulations once again, Paul, and hope to talk to you again very soon.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you guys.
Alrighty, that will do it for tonight. Which, Brandon, you know what that means next? That means go to Discord, look up the schedule, and try to figure out what we're doing for the next couple weeks, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting next couple weeks. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Believe we had Atlanta next.
Yes, yeah.
And,
So we've got Atlanta. We do have an off week in between, so we can take a break next Friday night, and then after that we'll be back for should be 4 weeks in a row. Atlanta September 26th, then we've got Daytona October 3rd, and I lied because we'll be off October 10th, back on October 17th, and the season finale at Talladega on the 24th. So Atlanta in 2 weeks, Daytona the week after that, a week off, and then Talladega to round out before the Halloween on Friday night. Should be fun this week or this year for Halloween being on a Friday night, but we'll end the season just before that. So you know what that means. Sunday schedule, same, 2 days later. So we've got Talladega in 2 nights on the 14th. And then in 2 weeks, Atlanta Motor Speedway, or Echo Park Speedway now, will be on Sunday, September 28th. Then we've got Daytona October 5th, week off. Talladega October 19th, Talladega season finale on October 26th. So, as we mentioned, plenty of opportunities. Looking forward to the next couple weeks and getting an opportunity to crown some champions here. Really cool to see Paul and Vicente do what they did tonight to have really great execution, and also really cool to see Paul make it into the playoffs and that late charge. Obviously, he was out until those 2 drivers who were in the playoffs gave up their spot, but that's still a lot of hard work and a really great executed race to even be in that position to be the one that gets to compete for a championship there, Brandon.
Yep, sometimes the chips just fall your way, and now not only that, but Paul's got some motivation. He's got some umph to go get it. And hey, what do you got to lose now? You ain't supposed to be here anyways. Really, if not trying to sound rude or anything, but that's the mindset. Hey, I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna have some fun, and I'm gonna throw everything but the kitchen sink at him. So playoffs gonna be interesting, and Talladega back to back to end it. One good show.
Absolutely. Well, we've got to touch on Tuesdays before we head out to, obviously, the IndyCar Racing Series here at Area 51 has their series going. They've had a couple off weeks, but they'll be back at Motegi on September 16th in 4 days. Charlotte will be September 23rd, and they've got Michigan October 7th, New Hampshire October 21st, and they've got Las Vegas November 4th, and the season finale, the double points finale, the Indianapolis 500K on November 18th. So more of a stretched out season for the IndyCar drivers, but exciting nonetheless as they battle for the season-long points. And absolutely make sure you come by, hang out with us on Sunday night as we get ready to set that field of 12 for the playoffs and have some fun. I'm sure plenty of fun doing that. So anything else that comes to mind before we head out here, Brandon?
No. good racing. I really wanted to see that battle. If them pit stops would have went to plan for Bootnack and those guys, that would have been one heck of a finish, I think. But makes it so much better when we go to Atlanta.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was probably one of the biggest points of the night was just disappointment for especially Tom Dixon blowing a motor late there. And then obviously, Gabe Butler really didn't make too many mistakes, but obviously couldn't come off a pit road with any dancing partners, and that really hurts your chances. So unfortunately for Gabe, that was kind of a nail in his coffin. But I mean, still third place is a really great opportunity, great finish for him. Some of the Roswell Motorsports guys, Jack Walls, Blitzel with a solid top 10. But yeah, definitely bummed for Tom Dixon to see him not be able to capitalize on what should have been a top 3 finish tonight, but still a great run nonetheless. And I mean, other than getting a little hot and blowing the motor there, his execution was darn near perfect tonight too. So shout out to him, and props to them for the night that they had. And everyone loves a first-time winner, so congratulations once again to Paul. And yeah, that's probably enough rambling from us. So for myself, Boomer Logan, for my good friend in the booth, Brandon Briggs, we are going to sign off, say have a good week. Come back in 2 days. Plenty of fun. I should be here for Sunday night, so plenty of fun. Come back in 2 days, please. I'd love to see you guys there, and we'll have some fun together on Sunday night, settling that playoff field. And yeah, for now, take care, good night, and have a great week, everyone.